Adam, day two, we had 18 separate draft day deals. The biggest headline, as I mentioned, Josh Rosen going to Miami. What ultimately got that deal done?
Well, David, honestly, Arizona kept up a very strong, brave stance about it was willing to hold on to Josh Rosen, and maybe it would have. But the truth of the matter is they had to have him out of the organization. They could say that now in the end. They weren't willing to admit that. They had Kyler Murray as the #1 pick. He's taking over the offense. It would be an extremely awkward situation to have him and Kyler Murray there when you went out during the offseason and signed Brett Hundley as a potential backup should this scenario arise. They signed Hundley, I think, with the idea that they would draft Murray at #1 and potentially move on from Josh Rosen. And so all the brave talk, which they should have done and was the right thing to do, I think, was to leverage that player to get as much back as they could. They wind up getting back a 2nd and 5th round draft choice from the Miami Dolphins. Kyler Murray gets the starting job. Josh Rosen gets to compete for the starting job with Ryan Fitzpatrick in Miami, and both teams go on and are better for it.
Josh Rosen, the Dolphins getting a 1st-round talent here, Lewis, for a 2nd rounder and a 5th next year. What do you make of that trade from the Dolphins' perspective?
Oh, I think it's a great trade by general manager Chris Grier, because what you have now is you have the perfect situation with a veteran quarterback in Ryan Fitzpatrick that can really just go ahead and serve as a calming type of influence on Josh Rosen, who quite honestly went through one of the toughest rookie years that you could possibly put a rookie quarterback through. He wasn't set up for success down there. He got the living daylights beat out of him, and now he's coming into a situation where the world isn't expected of him. There's a lot of work that needs to be done by the Miami Dolphins as far as the offensive line is concerned to make sure that whoever eventually ultimately becomes their franchise quarterback, that they are well protected and set up for success. And this is a long-term process that they have now begun down there in Miami after years and years of kind of like from year after year resetting that organization and trying to find its footing. So I think he's going into a situation now where he's kind of like found the bottom as far as the early part of his career, and now it's just all onward and upward.
And the economics always important with a quarterback. They're getting him for cheap for many years. So we'll see how that plays out.
If we're going to really project ahead here, all right, bear with me. So there's the thought that if Miami struggles this season, they could actually be in position to draft Tua Tagovailoa next year. Wow, here we go again. So how does this move impact that potentially?
Yeah, there's been that hashtag for a few months that says, tank for Tua. That's the Dolphins' theme, at least the theme among their fans. And there's Justin Herbert, the Oregon quarterback, next year. But I can tell you from talking to head coach Brian Flores in his first year off the Patriots staff and their general manager, Chris Grier, they despise that theme, tank for Tua. There is no tanking for them. This goes on Brian Flores' resume. He's trying to build a winning culture. So getting Josh Rosen, I think, was a major piece to that, to being able to compete this year. Now, they do have a lot of draft capital next year, so that if they're the worst team, well, if they're the worst team in football, they won't need that draft capital. But say they're picking 8th or 9th or 10th, they can use that draft capital and go up and get Tua or Justin Herbert if Josh Rosen is not successful. But there's a lot of people in this league that think he is going to be successful, so maybe that tank for Tua thing will fall to somebody else.
Yeah, I mean, he could be one of the greatest deals ever at quarterback. Who knows? That remains to be seen.